Welcome back to Tip of the Spear, MSNBC's exclusive profile of one of the Marine Expeditionary Units engaged in America's war against terrorism. The Marine Corps and Navy welcomed us to provide this inside look at one elite unit's response to the crisis. They first arrived in the Middle East for a scheduled deployment, and their first mission was a desert training exercise with coalition forces. But that exercise took on a new sense of urgency with the start of the bombing in Afghanistan. Before dawn, Gunnery Sergeant Halpin has his reconnaissance platoon up and preparing for a practice parachute insertion, one of their specialties.
With the training they've received, they're ready to go. They really are. And the mindset's there because of the realism now. What happened back in the United States, it's our homeland. So now it's like, wow, this is really happening. So now we've got to take that training and possibly put it to use.
He and his highly trained and specially selected Forced Reconnaissance Platoon are the Marines' Special Operations Unit. They're trained for high-altitude drops behind enemy lines, underwater insertions, and beach reconnaissance, and as advanced scouts for larger military operations.
Basically, we can go behind enemy lines, find out where they are, report it back to higher, and from there, we can jump, we can dive, we can do small raids.
With unconventional warfare playing a greater role in the current crisis, small reconnaissance teams like this one might very well be the only ground troops capable of finding and engaging the enemy in both remote and urban areas.
Especially with the situation now, people are like, wow, we really got to get this job done. And not only the Marine Corps, but especially when it comes to a force reconnaissance unit, because we're such a small unit, and you've got a 4 to 5 man team out there. They got to depend on each other. It doesn't matter what rank you are. There's a job to be done. You just do it. No questions asked.
You're not going to hit a tree or a water jump out here. What's going to happen is a big man.
A lot of times I'm the last one out, and I'll be the first one on the ground.
Grease bowling ball and a 10-pound bag of potatoes.
Hurts my body. I'm not getting any younger. That's what being a Marine's about. We fight in every climbing place, so.
The food back on the ship is what the Marines in the field miss most, especially after a few days of eating MREs. They're officially known as meals ready to eat.
Oh, yeah.
With some entrees more notorious than others.
The beef frankfurters, there's 4 small ones that come in one package. Those would be the 4 fingers of death.
The country Captain Chicken. And you always gotta put Tabasco sauce, get the taste out.
We're focused. We're here to train and don't really have time to sit and bemoan the fact that we don't have our creature comforts. We're not on the ship. We don't have our 3 squares a day and a clean shower and a clean bed.
I miss my family terribly. I have a son who's 2.5, and then I have a daughter, and then I have my wife who is back at the home front taking care of my son. And my heart goes out to her, and the respect that I give her because of what she has to do. Sometimes her job is harder than mine.
It's lonely, very lonely. He's my best friend.
In the Marines' relationships with their coalition partners, religious and geopolitical overtones are keenly felt during this training exercise.
And the religion is 94% Muslim. They believe in Islam, and they're known as Muslims.
On their first day in Egypt, they are briefed by one of the Navy's 3 Muslim chaplains on how closely connected the local culture and Islam really are, as well as some of the disconnects with the events of September 11th.
As people begin to question what are the reasons in their search for answers, they're obviously finding out that it's not a religion of terrorism and hate and destruction. It's actually one that, like all monotheistic religions, or even actually most religions, preaches peace and love and so on.
Marine Captain Haytham Faraj is a Lebanese-born Muslim whose family emigrated to the U.S. when he was 10. He speaks Arabic and is a forward artillery controller.
Religion is actually, although it's important for everyone, being a Marine is first. They've always been open. I mean, there's a free discussion, a free sort of atmosphere of ideas, and it's interesting because I work with I have a Jewish executive officer, and we have a free exchange of ideas, and we always say, imagine if people did what we do, we wouldn't have any problems.
On the first Friday ashore, Captain Faraj and other Muslim servicemen attend services at a local mosque on an Egyptian military base.
They were more surprised by the fact that they had an American officer, regardless of background, amongst them at a Friday prayer. But I think you will find that given that you have 1.2 billion Muslims in the world, there are a lot of different types of Muslims, different backgrounds and different races.
Half a world away from home, the Marine community grows tighter in the middle of an Egyptian desert and an ageless conflict of cultures and beliefs. Coming up.
These are the men who do the most ugly, dirty, filthy thing that we're directed to do.
The final live fire rehearsal before the Marines get the call to head for Afghanistan.
In desert environment, the ability to move quickly from place to place is a combat multiplier and makes you a more effective combat force. I am able to mount out one of my rifle companies in assault amphibians and combined with tanks and heavy machine gun assets that are in Humvees, they can strike very rapidly and move quickly across the desert floor.
Lieutenant Colonel Jerome Lyons commands the Strike Force component, the 1,200-man Battalion Landing Team, composed of infantry, armor, and artillery, and likely to be among the first on the ground in Afghanistan.
If you need me to go in and blow something up, I can do that. If you need me to go in and secure an airfield or a port, I can do that. If you need me to go in and protect relief convoys for humanitarian assistance, I can do that. It's just pick the one and send us. This varsity team is ready to be, you call the play, we're ready to go.
The varsity is like a brotherhood. It's an all-star team. Everyone takes care of everyone, and we all look out for each other, and just a band of brothers.
What we do is we go out just like this, just like the area that you're in right now. We spread out and we look for armor. We look for with the reconnaissance of the battalion. We're looking for harbor sites. We're looking for missile sites, anything of that nature that might go out, and we report to higher. And if they give us orders, we destroy it. We operate night and day. We take naps whenever we can. Varsity 4, is that refueler at your pause this time? And eat whenever we can. We're constantly moving. As long as we got fuel, water, we're good.
Gunnery Sergeant David Hargrove says he's always wanted to carry on the family tradition of serving in the Marines, despite the fact that his father lost both of his legs as a Marine in Vietnam.
I have 1,200 American heroes who feel very keenly the loss of our countrymen. They have left their families, they have left their loved ones, they have left their homes, and they're out here with their helmets and their rifles and their American spirit to do whatever needs to be done. We bear very keenly the loss of our countrymen, but we're out here on business. We're professionals.
All right, the